Introvert, is it for an extrovert? I would say if someone is hypersensitive to the chemistry around them internally, that is a fantastic attribute to have. If someone is more confident and has a modicum of experience and a desire, a drive to tell a story, that is pretty much a prerequisite. But of course it is cultural, thin to thin, or Brazilian to Brazilian. You can make up your own stories. Okay, language. Let us be blunt and slightly imperialist, shrugging off the guilt that goes with that. A lot of the global broadcasts will be in English. They might be in Spanish, they might be in another language, but they probably are going to be in English. Is it US English? Is it native British English, or is it international business English? There is a massive difference, and more about language later. International business English is probably the most effective and efficient across borders, but you have to be very mindful of your sender message and how that is going to land. I would suggest a slightly more inductive approach. It can't be completely linear, because why are you doing a webinar unless you get permission to read out of a legal journal for a couple of hours? And I do know a man who does that. He has mixed results. Okay? So it's about stories, examples, drama, the unpredicted. You might as well be prepared for the unpredicted, because it is going to happen. Then we have sort of the coconut culture of I need a relationship, but perfectly demonstrated by Olga this morning. What was that was a fantastic opening address. What was the first 15 or 20 minutes about? Rapport, friendship, engagement, exchange. She talked about her place. She talked about her family. Would that transfer to a webinar? That would be a question to answer. So more, it's the transactional, it's the peach culture. So a Polish guy talked to me 2 years ago, and she talked about smiling. Do you remember that? The magic of smiling in Russia or in the US. So only a mad person would smile, would be the Moscow rule. Only the mad person would smile at a stranger. Looking at transactions, so let's give a negative label and then a positive label. If you are a peach, you're instantly accessible. An Irishman in a Guinness pub, you are instantly accessible. A shop assistant in Macy's, hi, how are you this fine day? So the cynic would call it synthetic personalization, with some validity. That was a Polish phrase from 2 years ago. The optimist might call it the instant assumption of trust, which lands more warmly. So they trust you and it's okay until you pay the money or you annoy them. There's another phrase for that. Okay? So maybe we need to be more transactional, and that's going to take some practice for the guys here who are slow burn. Buy me dinner first. Okay, so what are you? You've got to answer some deep personal questions. Are you a perfectionist? Well, I'll tell you, the frustration levels with being a perfectionist, when it just comes to the technical, are going to annoy you, so be careful of that. If you're a pragmatist and you actually enjoy some drama, then this is the medium for you. Should you be emotionally neutral or expressive? Or it's like a swan. On the top, on the surface, you should be serene and elegant, whilst you are scrabbling and panicking and freaking and sweating on the inside. And it's quite fun. But there are some tricks and tips. I mean, right now I'm trying to speak to you here. If I was doing a webinar broadcast, I would be bent double, following every word and helping myself to broadcast. So there are actually some advantages to webinar over live presentation, face-to-face presentation. And finally we come to hierarchy, and we have to be very mindful of this. It's so easy to go parent-child, colonial, imperialist, and whatever that makes the other people, relative you, slaves. Not a good one, not a good one. So there are techniques of moderating your own power as a broadcaster to keep engagement. Very